Welcome to Annuity News Now. One of the hottest topics in the annuity industry is the income rider. They're also referred to as living benefit riders, and they can provide predictable growth through a guaranteed future income stream. However, these particular devices can be somewhat complex and often even unintentionally misrepresented by advisors. My guest is Stan, the annuity man. Stan, welcome back.
I appreciate you having me back. Look forward to talking about this topic.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of title this topic Annuity Income Riders Explain. Now, let's just start from the beginning. What is an income rider?
An income rider is an added additional benefit that you can attach to your annuity policy. You can attach it on a variable annuity, you can attach it on a fixed annuity. And what it does, it provides a contractual guaranteed growth percentage that can be used for future income. We call it target date income planning. In essence, you're picking a target date. You're saying, okay, I'm going to retire in 7 years, and I want in a worst-case scenario that I'm going to see a growth percentage to that point, of which you can calculate to the dollar what your income will be 7 years from now. That's what it was designed for. That's how it was designed, but unfortunately, that's not how it's sold.
Okay, and is this sort of like a sub-account within the annuity?
I wouldn't call it a sub-account, because when you start saying sub-account, that actually refers to the variable annuity mutual fund choices internally. I would call it an additional calculation. If you're sitting out there and wondering how it works in an annuity, if you have a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. To the left-hand side would be the accumulation value, or what I call the walkaway amount, where the investments are. And on the right-hand side would be, say, the income rider, that attached benefit that you want to guarantee a growth amount for future income. Both are separate calculations. Both are used differently. What happens is in our world, there's somewhat of a hazy sale on, the income rider is the walkaway amount, etc. Part of the problem we're having in the industry is agents aren't very clear on how it works. If they just use what I said, draw the line down the middle of the paper, two calculations. The accumulation value is what you can walk away with. The income rider value is what you can use for future income. It would work a lot better out there in the industry.
Yeah, so you're saying that the confusion here comes from misrepresenting this particular amount as yield, is what you're
Correct.
saying? Okay.
Correct. And if you think logically about it, if we have the 10-year Treasury at this current time, we're taping this in January of 2012, and the 10-year Treasury is at 2%. Insurance companies can't offer a yield of 6 or 7 or 5 or whatever percent. They can't do it. It's not logistically possible. However, they can offer a percentage that's very high that can be used for future income, because what they're doing is they're basing that lifetime income stream on your life expectancy. So they know how to offer those rates that are high, but for future income.
Let's talk about who benefits from these the most. Would it be safe to say that this would be something that one would apply if one wasn't as concerned about growing principal as they were about just, generating predictable income in the future?
That's correct. I mean, for the person out there that kind of knows when they're thinking about retiring, or the person that is an entrepreneur that wants to create their own pension down the road but wants to make sure it grows to get to that point, in a traditional 401k defined contribution plan, you don't know what the growth's going to be. I mean, you can put it in a stable value fund and hope it gets there. But with an income rider type strategy, you can say, okay, I know it's going to grow by this. I know I'm going to defer it. Some of these riders will allow you to defer it up to, say, 20 years, and it defers for those 20 years, 15, 20 years, and then you can take income. It's a very unique and efficient way to do target date income planning for pension payments in the future. That's the way I tell clients. You're creating your own pension plan.
Can you talk about a little bit about the cost of these features?
Well, this is kind of where I'm going to step on the soapbox a little bit. And,
okay.
Riders can be attached to both variable annuities and fixed annuities. My opinion is that they should be attached only to fixed annuities. And the reason why is the fees. The fees for a rider on a fixed annuity is sufficiently less than a variable annuity. But where the rubber really meets the road on income riders is at the payout. In other words, when you defer during the time period of the deferral, let's just say your income rider is growing at 6% every year. When you decide to turn the income stream on, the insurance company is going to base that payout on your age at the time you turn that income stream on. This is where it's not explained. This is the true sizzle of the product, but no one explains this. Variable annuities are traditionally 100 to 150 basis points, or 1 to 1.5% less on the actuarial payout than a fixed annuity. In other words, let's just say you get to age 70, you've been deferring for 10 years, your 100 has grown to 200, and you turn on the income stream. In a fixed annuity setting, the actuarial payout percentage might be 6%, meaning you're going to get $6,000 a year for the rest of your life, or $12,000 a year for the rest of your life, 6% of 200, whereas a variable might be 5%, which means you're going to get $10,000 a year for the rest of your life. And that's not explained. What agents do is they spend all their time on the rate.
Right.
My income rider is higher than your income rider. But really the value is on the payout. What is the actuarial percentage when you take the income stream? That's where the rubber meets the road.
And so keeping this in mind there, talk to the agents out there and the advisor. How should they begin to represent this particular feature? What's the best way?
The best way is to understand what the client is trying to achieve from the standpoint of future income. And then from the future income and how to compare the products, you can say, okay, you want to retire in 10 years. Let's look at a number of income riders at different levels, 8%, 6%, 5%, whatever it is, and then let's defer for 10 years. And then let's look at each specific company and look at the payout rate at the end of that 10 years. That way, you might have an income rider that is growing at 6.5%, but has a higher actuarial payout on the back end, which would actually pay out more money if you had an 8% rider with a lower actuarial payout at the back end. But what happens in our industry is people are choosing the highest rate, and they're hanging themselves right there. In a court of law, in arbitration, in a complaint scenario, the lawyer's going to ask, did you look at that payout ratio at the back end? And if the answer is no, you're liable. From a industry standpoint, we need to look at three things with income riders: the rate, the period that it's guaranteed for, and then the payout, the actual payout at the end. Those are the three things that are key. You can't just look at number one, and I say 90% of agents out there are looking at number one.
Well, Stan, as always, you provide a great deal of helpful information. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Once again, my guest is Stan the Annuity Man. StanTheAnnuityMan.com is where you can find him. I'm Scott Drake, and you're watching Annuity News Now.